Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Glad with Dad. My name's Harrison. I'm joined with my dad.
I'm Alan.
In this podcast, we help you build emotional well-being through a new perspective. In today's podcast, we're going to be talking about disappointment comes from expectations. Whenever we have something that we want to happen in life and then it falls short, it's very easy to be disappointed when that happens. And the reason is because we're setting those expectations to begin with. And yeah, that's just what we're going to be talking about today. So let's get straight into it. So what sort of expectations did you have when you were younger, or just even if it was recently, before you kind of realized that you can't?
When I was younger, I expect to have what other people had without any effort, really.
Yeah.
And that leaves you straight away into self-pity.
Yeah.
Really. And
because you fall short.
100%. And it's like, I haven't got a plan. I don't know how to get there, but I haven't thought about that. I haven't thought about a plan. I didn't have them skills to be in. They've got that. How do I get from where I'm at to where they're at? I never even thought, that wasn't even part of my thinking.
Yeah.
So,
And that would have been one of the reasons why you weren't where they were.
Oh, mate, I sat in self-pity quite a lot.
Yeah.
Silently, though.
Yeah.
Outwardly, you would never have known it.
Yeah.
But inwardly, I sat in that self-pity.
And when you're in self-pity, it makes you so easy. It's so easy to self-sabotage too, so you don't do stuff again.
100%, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, like if you don't have any expectations, well, then you can't be disappointed, can you?
Yeah. That's it.
Really?
Yeah, because whatever happens it just happens.
Yeah. But then where do you sit with that?
Yeah.
With no passion for life?
Yeah. You can't. And even just built into us, we make expectations. Like, we expect that we're gonna wake up tomorrow, or that one's one that you couldn't. Wow. That one's one you can't even take for granted. But maybe say we expect when we blink, when we open our eyes, everything's still gonna be how it was before we blinked. Like those sorts of expectations. Yeah. But even the one like what I just said, I don't even know if you should be fully always knowing like 100% I'm going to be around tomorrow, because at the end of the day you don't.
No.
You don't.
True.
Yeah, and if you always think you always have time, you're always going to be able to do this later on, then it's always going to be put off, and then it's going to be too late.
Yeah, true. And like I always, I wondered how I was going to retire. Really,
Yeah.
Without any money.
Yeah.
It's like.
And you thought you wanted to retire how other people were, and they were investing in their super the whole life, which is an Australian fund that the government kind of makes for you for retirement.
Support, yeah.
Yeah.
You put money out of your wages each week.
Yeah.
The employer does.
But because you're self-employed, you had to do that, your own due diligence, but you didn't.
Well, unlike most self-employed people, we don't actually put in money to our own super. I know some do, but I know most don't.
Yeah.
It's easy to find ways to spend your money.
Yeah. 100%.
If it's not directed, 100%.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
What about yourself?
Well, I expected I'll just pick up the schoolwork next week or next term, or even next year. I'll pick up my grades next year. If say I'm 3/4 of the way through and I haven't been doing the best, I'll be like, next year's the year. Next year comes around and then I'll be like, next week's the week.
Yeah.
Then next term, then next year again. Yeah. And it always ends up being like that. If you putting things off like that. And I expected pretty much my future self to pick up on the slack of now.
Yeah.
And whenever you do that, your future self is going to do the same thing. So it's really just a snowball. It doesn't end. But whenever I'd expect something too, I I would automatically create a subconscious fear of if that expectation didn't happen. So like subconscious fear comes automatically with expectation. Even if you don't know you're afraid of it, that it's built in. If that doesn't happen, that's not good. So because that's what you expect to happen. And usually expectations are built upon things that we want, usually. So fear would come into play, and fear would automatically be made, and then if that expectation starts to unravel, it would turn into a conscious fear instead of an unconscious one. And that's when the subconscious fear like comes out, whenever the expectation falls through, which is a lot of the time, because we can't really predict the future. It's a really tricky business doing that.
And like, for instance, if I've got employees, I expect them to perform. That's like, that's an expectation I need to have, really, or else nothing's going to happen.
Definitely.
So there's certain expectations I need to have in my life. Like, and the expectation, if I don't do anything, I'm going to get nothing. Like, if I think like I always fought, I'll do what I always done, and I'll get what I always got. Which I'm not happy with in the first place. So, you
have to change something.
Something needs to change, for to have a new experience, and that was part of my problem. I would bring in old experiences in the present. They didn't belong. So
created from like fears or something that didn't happen.
And that was just me protecting me from disappointment, from the expectations, really, And it was an excuse for me not to put in the action that needed to be put into the effort. Everything needs.
And
effort.
we don't think when we're making those excuses it's an excuse to escape, but it is.
I was not aware.
I
was not aware of that.
Usually never aware when you're making all these excuses that they're just so you have an easy way out. But more often than not they are.
It's only through the practice of taking inventory for me that I've been able to see these insights about myself and the way I've been tripping myself up, really. And Jesus, no wonder I was having trouble, really. In all
100%.
areas of my life, really. Until I started taking inventory. It doesn't mean that I got it all right now, not at all. But it's getting better, and I allow myself now to not be perfect, which is a real big thing if you want to get over the disappointment of expectation. Really, without that self-forgiveness, it's like it's nearly impossible to go forward. Not impossible, but for me, it was very.
Makes it a lot hard.
So I had to bring that into my life as part of my life. What about yourself?
Well, you have to have good expectations, like what I was saying before. Like, sun's going to come up tomorrow. You expect your close friends are going to be there for you, things like that. But say with the friends, if that falls through, you have to be accepting of the fact that sometimes friends won't be there for you. Not everyone's going to be there for you at the end of the day. At the end of the day, you're the only person that's going to be there for you 24/7. So you have to make sure you're looking after yourself and your own brain. So like I also kind of like something that I didn't have expectations of that really helped me is, say, with my social media, right? So when it started to grow, I knew that grow isn't like, it's not linear. Like growth on social media, it's not just going to all happen at the same pace all the time. I'm going to slow down, and then I might pick back up again, slow down again, stuff like that. And so when my Instagram was popping off and stuff, and then it started to slow down a bit, at the start I was a little bit disappointed, but then I kind of realized like, oh, it's natural, it's okay.
Part of the flow.
And my expectations weren't that it needed to constantly be booming, and I wasn't disappointed because of it. And because I wasn't disappointed, I still have the motivation and stuff to keep going.
And that wouldn't have killed your creativity too.
100%. And also I'm creating content that I want to create instead of just content that will please the masses, And that way I can really turn it into something that is for me, and
it's your lifestyle.
Yeah, my lifestyle, not just living a lie, or not just a lie, but living something that's not a full expression of myself.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
And like expectations really limits your opportunity too. Really, there might be more. It's like my mind can only see what it sees, and it's through my expectations or my limited thinking. Now, if I can put that aside, which I find I can do through talking with people, is one way.
Yeah.
Or there'd be another way through meditation. It can expand my mind.
Yeah.
Where I don't have to be stuck to a thought pattern, or I don't have to be stuck to an outcome. My mind is opened up. Without that open-mindedness,
you
I'm
have to have
be
an
constantly
open mind.
Disappointed. Really, I need to continually practice an open mind.
And a lot of the time, we make our expectations from fear too, of having to see what it looks like.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. So if you can let go of the fact that you're not going to be able to see how everything looks like ahead of time, then you won't need to expect as much, and that will lead to you not being disappointed as much.
But we do that. For me, I know that I do that because I get a sense of security and the security instinct being so strong, I get a sense of security in knowing what it looks like, wanting to know what it looks like before I actually do it. I get a sense of security, but it's a matter of letting go of that instinct, which is so strong and not so easy to do.
Yeah.
To let go of that, you need some
100%.
kind of trust.
Yeah.
That you're going to be okay and everything's going to be okay. Or there's little chance for me personally to be able to let go of that, not wanting to know what it looks like. That sense of security.
Yeah, and depending on like how old you are, say you're 50 years old and you haven't really thought about that before, there's 50 years of patterns you have to unlearn. So it's not just going to happen straight away. And you have to be patient with yourself. You have to be patient with yourself and understanding that you're going to slip up and you're still going to
fall into old
habits.
And that's that process of taking inventory.
And it's totally okay. But over time, slowly, if you keep making yourself aware and keep bringing yourself back, you won't do those things as much. And it's really just you just have to be patient with yourself and consistency. Keep trying to be aware of these things.
And do you think you need a plan? Like for me, I would expect things without a plan.
Yeah.
And like that creates a lot of anxiety, a lot of fear.
Yeah.
And I'm bound to have disappointment along the way. But when I've got a plan, I've at least got some direction, and I can feel good along the way. It's not a matter of arriving really. It's a matter of enjoying the journey.
Yeah, because the journey fills up most of the time. So
100%.
If you're not enjoying the journey, then you just enjoy a little bit when you get something, and then you're chasing something else again, and
never satisfied.
You're never satisfied.
Yeah. So there's another disappointment. For thinking I'm going to arrive. That was mine.
Yeah.
When I get this, I'm going to arrive. When I get that, I'm going to arrive.
Every person who lives a life like that always is searching for more.
Yeah.
They're never satisfied.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's the bit
because everything.
I still have a little bit of that restlessness, within me. That's probably why I find it hard to settle.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. And in our society is kind of built to have us buy a lot and do all those manipulation. The top people in the world have spent billions of dollars trying to manipulate us to buy things. With psychology. So we're really up against the masses.
Yeah, but it doesn't mean that I use that as an excuse not to take responsibility
100%.
either. I've got to still take responsibility for myself and not displaying it. It's nothing wrong with being aware of that stuff, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
Most of the time, and most people ain't aware of it. More so probably they are now, but back in the day they weren't. But they are more and more. people become conscious of how we've been manipulated and able to make changes in their own personality to be able to counteract that.
100%. Everything.
But it's still there.
Yeah.
Because of the dopamine it releases through getting stuff.
Yeah.
You know?
But everything, like pretty much everything we really need, besides like food, water, that sort of stuff, we can get from in ourselves.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't. You can get that fulfillment and joy that you might get when you buy a brand new Ferrari or something within yourself, like every morning.
I don't know that one yet. I've been in one. Mate's got one. It's fantastic.
Yeah, but like but that joy, like that you experience from that, at the end of the day, it's not that different than the joy you'd experience from, say, something big in your life that maybe 100%. Be happy. It's still the same thing. It's just the item's different.
Yeah, 100%.
Like we can feel that same feeling within us without the Ferrari.
Yeah, 100%. You know?
Yeah.
But I'll still have the Ferrari any day. Anyone want to give one away, I'll happily take it over.
That's it. So like, don't expect things will happen how you see it in your head. Things are gonna happen how things are just gonna unravel naturally, and you can't really you can't plan everything out, and expect the unexpected.
Really? Yeah. Well, you got to be able to accept the unexpected. Really, when it comes along. I couldn't live a life without any expectations.
Well, you can't. It's not real, but
100%.
It's not real. It's just choosing what you expect from
maybe
things.
More of handling how I handle the disappointments of the expectations when they don't turn out right would be a good thing, you know?
Yeah, but also managing what you how often you have expectations of certain things,
and trying to expect things without a plan.
Yeah.
Like that's just
fairy tale.
Fairyland. You know? Yeah, 100%. And immature, really.
Yeah, 100%.
And I've been that way. I'll put my hand up to that. You know, as you know more, you do better.
Yeah.
So that's what we're hopefully here to share our experience and bring some light in your life you might not have any light about, you know. And hopefully that can help you find your own direction and be able to help you emotionally cope with the ups and downs of life.
And one other way to have like less expectations or hindering expectations is to have trust in the universe, you know.
100%.
Have trust that things. Yeah, trust that things are going to be okay.
Yeah.
You know.
And you know, like knowing somebody cares. Like it's really important to knowing that at least one person in this world cares about you.
Yeah.
They've got your back no matter what's happening, whether you muck up or you don't. Doesn't matter. For me, it's the world. For me, you know, and I'm a very fortunate man. I've got, you know, half a dozen people like that really care about me, and I'm not talking just about my family. My family they've gone to hell and back for me.
Yeah.
But you know, I'm talking about outside of my family.
Yeah.
I'm a very fortunate man. I remember a man saying, if you got one person, count yourself blessed. Now,
there are so many people so lonely out there. It's sad, really sad.
And but a lot of that is fear because they don't reach out. Too.
100%.
You know? They're frightened of being hurt.
Yeah.
You know?
A lot of self-sabotaging thought patterns and just patterns of action to create that loneliness in a lot of people's lives.
And they're bringing old habits in, just like we talked about before, old habits into a new experience. They can't have a new experience if they're bringing an old thought pattern in.
Yeah.
You're going to have the same experience. And that, you know, that self-propels that experience again. Because you'll attract that into your life.
Yeah.
Just to be right.
Yeah.
Unconsciously.
Yeah, 100%.
That's the same.
When you're in that sort of way of thinking, your ego and your pride, those are the things running the show.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
100%.
And to prove yourself right is a great thing for your ego.
Oh.
Your ego loves that. So to do something that what will prove yourself wrong will attack on that ego, and that's an attack on yourself, and then you feel like you're a bad person or you're dumb or whatever that
that's
is.
if you're attached to that. You know?
But people in those thought patterns are attached to that.
Yeah, not everyone is.
Not everyone is, of course.
You can actually learn exercise to actually detach yourself from your ego.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, definitely.
When you're not, for me, I'm not attaching outcomes to my self-esteem. My self-esteem's okay regardless of the outcomes.
Yeah.
And quite often that's what's happening with me now. But I've been practicing this for a long, long time. Self-analysation, you know, for over 36 years now. So,
yeah.
You know, it's been a fantastic journey. And you know, it's one that you never get bored.
Yeah, and it never finishes either.
Never get bored. There's new discoveries all the time.
Yeah.
You know?
To think you know everything about yourself is ridiculous.
Oh, you know, as always. Because new situations come up in life.
Yeah.
So
that challenge new things and trigger old trauma and all sorts of stuff.
Yeah. And you're growing, so you're in a different position as time goes on too. So you're going to see things differently.
100%.
You know, so your thinking's going to be differently because you see things differently. So you're going to react differently, and it's just constantly ongoing. You know?
Yeah.
That's the exciting part of this journey. I love. You know.
Yeah, I love it too. Yeah. It's great.
And it's just fantastic to have my son share the journey with me. You know.
Yeah, this is a ball. I'm loving it.
This is the best. This is ultimate for me. You know.
Yeah.
It's good to have you along the trip, mate.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Cool.
Okay, well, thank you. If you got something from that, let us know in the comments below. The comments really help us out, and share it if you think anyone else might get something from this. Save this if you need to listen to this later. And I really appreciate you listening, and hope you have an amazing day or night.
Until next time.
Until next time.
See you then.
See ya.